I mean, Milwaukee is just, they're having it rough.
It keeps the theme alive. Between the quarters, Stephanie Reddy had a very interesting conversation with Damian Lillard.
Able to get the little floater to go.
We have that interview queued up.
Okay.
It's coming your way.
I trust you.
Stand by.
I trust you.
I don't know if you heard it the first time. There's some good insights in there. Lopez out ahead to Portis. Lillard had that flurry at the end of the first half. He's sitting on 21. Giannis with 21. Trent off the bench with 18. And there is Rozier high off the window. Second basket of the game for Rozier. Connaughton comes up short.
And sometimes we got back-to-backs. Things like this happen. And it's our job, even though it's three nights in a hotel, not being able to leave, traveling on game day, it's our job to get up and get our bodies moving, lift, run, stay active so that, when a day like today comes, we can come out here and do what we got to do. It was a slow start, but I think our preparation for, tonight is coming through for us.
That's some really good insight because we've talked about that during the broadcast, how difficult it must have been for you all. So now here you are, you're faced with the fourth quarter is all you have left for today. What do you have to do to be successful?
We just got to keep our minds right, stay focused, stay disciplined. We came into the night saying no excuses. Nobody gonna feel.
Always professional.
That's a way to approach it right there. You remember the Bucks flew to New Orleans Monday. They did not have a scheduled game in New Orleans until Wednesday, but the league asked them and required them to fly on Monday so they could beat the poor weather that was coming in. They did that, and then they sat for 3 days before returning tonight, arriving about 2.5 hours before opening tip here tonight. And after a slow start, they have taken control.
And 11 attempts. The Heat are just now 10 for 42 from 3. It's been a huge part of the game.
Brooke won't help but remember Damian Lillard. When you have a matchup against the Heat, Damian Lillard could have very well ended up in a Miami uniform and made it pretty clear that the Heat.
Hockey right now. This is a good basketball team. He's playing with another true star. They complement each other very well. And you're supposed to make that shot when I'm talking about you.
Well, this Miami Heat soap opera that's going on. The players here having to answer questions about Jimmy Butler every day, as is Eric Spoelstra. But it is a showdown between Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler. The trade deadline is 2 weeks from today. And where Jim works,
you more respect than he showed me, which was true of his whole career.
That's true.
Though he doesn't miss many shots usually when I'm in the building. Is the 25% from 3.
That was Jovic that time from the corner.
Miami's staying in that zone.
Bobby Portis. Now Connaughton leaves it for Portis, trying to get it back. A deflection. He got time here. Portis sticks.
Defensively, didn't give the effort to finish the possession.
The Bucks have won 4 straight, and they are scoring at will here. As Hawks, the Bucks have scored 120 points or more in each of their last 4 wins, and they've got a chance to do that here tonight to make it 5 in a row.
Well, and they've won 5 straight at home, all of them by at least 14 points coming into tonight, and it looks like they're going to...
For that West Coast road trip to take on tough opponents. And then remember, guys, they still have to make up the game that was postponed from last night that never happened against the Pelicans. They've got to squeeze that in somewhere, and that's a lot more difficult than people might think. It's not just both teams have to be off that night. Somebody has to have an available arena.
Well, that's a great point, Steph. And Coach, there was a lot of urgency by both teams, especially the Bucks, as Lopez gets a block where no matter what time it was going to start.
No question, because it gets tough, like Stephanie just said. Finding open windows on a crowded NBA schedule is not easy.
To change a game on the schedule, think about all the same routines. Miami was
mindset of being ready to play, not in the mindset of, well, maybe we'll play, maybe we won't. And we've seen after the start of the game, they've just been outstanding tonight.
Well, you know this better than anybody, but let's give a shout out to the support staff too at both of these teams, but especially the Bucks. I mean, the folks behind the scenes that are in charge of uniforms and preparing the locker room and all of the equipment that has to be moved to the floor.
Oh, there's no question. That's just a great point, BA, because so many people work so hard to make all this international rule, and when the ball hits the rim, it's live. I think there's exciting plays there, just like that one was. I think it's one the players would adapt to quickly. They do, even when they play in the Olympics, even our guys. I'd like to see us go to that.
Tyler, one day, or?
I hope so. I don't know if that's one of the things the NBA is looking at or not. I do know this. Adam Silver and the NBA staff are always looking for ways to improve the game. They don't do anything off the top of their head. They study it. They'll take a look at it at the G League, some other things. But they're never just resting on their laurels.
Ware misses a three. Tell you, speaking of, did you happen to catch the Unrivaled League on TNT? And what the women are doing, the 3-on-3, the short court, the Giannis lead. That's been a fascinating watch. They're off to a great start.
They really are. The floor is more open. There's a lot of space. It's a fast game. Can really see the skills of the women. Great concept and great players.
And all in Miami, by the way, just outside Miami. Stephanie Reddy's going to be on the desk tomorrow hosting 7 Eastern Unrivaled. As Giannis gets a fame as a member of the Blazers in Detroit, his 4th career triple-double, and he's got his first in Milwaukee. 29, 10, and 11. Had a couple of steals as well. And when you think about it, he didn't score in the first quarter. That is even more impressive.
Keyshawn Johnson with good effort on the board as I tip in. Somebody that Eric Spoelstra actually talked about in our pregame meeting, how happy he's been and would like to find more time with him.
Set the 5 on the floor for the Bucks with Marjan Beauchamp, Chris Livingston, Ryan Rollins, Tyler Smith, and A.J. Johnson. Mude getting some time here as well.
Wow.
Which
The Heat give players opportunities, and if you earn playing time, they'll give it to you. They're not going by where you win in the draft.
Keyshawn Johnson just provided Bucks fans with some wings with those 2 misses. Mude drives and scores at the rim.
Well, we said it the other night, Brian, when we were in Denver in another game that got out of hand. There's no such thing as garbage time in the NBA. There not only are your own coaches and scouts and everybody watching, but everybody in the league is, and all the pro scouts tomorrow, they're going to these blowouts and watch the last 5 or 6 minutes because that's their chance to see these guys. So you're still making your name, and every possession of NBA basketball counts for these guys who are trying to build a career.
I'll tell you, you can feel it on the floor right now. These guys are getting after it. Playing hard, playing with pace. Miami with Christopher and Johnson joining Highsmith and Rozier Larson after picking up 3 fouls. Christopher. And there's Larson, leaves it for Johnson. And Highsmith. Bucks want to move it. Smith with. He's been a big scorer in the G League this year.
Performance by a team who had some hardship today and came out and played great basketball.
And fell behind 20-15 through the first 6 minutes of this game. And they have been on point ever since. Uh-oh, we got a Pella Larson, and he's and gets settled.
Clippers playing tonight against Washington after Boston Celtics went to overtime and lost in that game.
Bucks have a 4-game road trip coming up. Mude with 2 to shoot. And Keyshawn Johnson out to Rozier. This will take us to the finish line here. Miami's going to drop to 21 and 22. They're going to fall back under 500, having lost 5 of their last 6 games. All parties in for the league. Just
the trade deadline day when it's over, February 11th. You know, this is our roster going forward the rest of the year. And good or bad, you can settle in and just focus on basketball. Right now, the Heat dealing with too many distractions.
They'll dribble it out, about a half a second separating the shot and the game clock. And it'll be a shot clock violation. Just put it in play. And that's it. The Bucks, for the 5th straight